I don't know if y'all ever heard of jug fishing, but it's a pretty common method down here in the south. You can usually land a good amount of catfish in a relatively short time. Ain't the most sportsmanlike way to fish, but it puts food on the table for families like mine. Well, tonight we decided we needed to restock the deep freezer. So we loaded up the kayaks and headed down to one of the local rivers. I'm not giving out the name because frankly, regardless of the stuff we saw tonight, we ain't giving up our fishing hole. The night started off weird. We always pull in right off the road, paddle down to our usual spot and set the jugs out with glow sticks. Then we just sit back and enjoy the night till we see the bottles bobbing, the little glow sticks dancing out in the water. But tonight, it got quiet. Not just a night setting in kind of quiet. It was like the whole world pressed pause and no crickets, no frogs, no owls. Not even the occasional bark from a distant dog. It wasn't just the absence of noise, it felt like everything in a 3-mile radius had just turned towards us, listening. The silence was alive, it pressed against my skull, made my ears ring. Like the air itself had sucked in a breath and was holding it. And then, just like that, everything went back to normal. Like it hadn't happened. But we felt it. A few hours passed and we'd already had a couple of good chases. My brother and I had backed our kayaks against the bank and were talking about our new jobs. He'd just started a warehouse gig and had picked up a pest control route when he felt something wet hit his neck. Rain, we figured. Made sense with the clouds hanging low. Then a jug dunked under. I paddled over expecting another catfish, but it wasn't. It was a gar with that wide, toothy grin. Ugly bastard had swallowed the hook and shredded his gills thrashing against the kayak. Blood spilled all over me and the boat. I could smell the iron, thick and hot. It mixed with something else, something rotten, like old meat left in a wet sock. We tried to save the hook but gave up. Tossed it in the cooler. Meat's meat. No point wasting what Mother Nature offers, even if it comes in the shape of a prehistoric nightmare. We paddled over to the side to rest up. That's when we saw it. Or more accurately, we saw its silhouette. It squatted down, knees bent wrong, arms stretched out, long knuckle limbs that reached the ground even while bent. The thing looked like a naked fleshy orangutan, but all wrong. Its limbs were too long, its movements too fluid, like it didn't have bones, just folds and hinges and too many joints. Its skin just didn't look like flesh. It moved, like something underneath was crawling, twisting, writhing just under the surface. We never saw its face, just the suggestion of a head that didn't seem shaped right. We flicked our headlamps on, and in that instant it snapped back into the woods, not running, but shoving itself backwards on those arms. It moved like it was used to being upside down. Then it let out a sound, a scream. Not just a cry or a howl, but something ancient. It started high, like wind shrieking through a broken throat, then dropped into a deep rattling groan that echoed inside my bones. It was the kind of sound that doesn't just scare you, it reminds your body that it's prey. Every instinct in me flinched. I think even the trees did. Then our lights died. Just gone. No flicker, no warning. We were plunged into black. The only light came from the moon overhead and the soft glow of our jug lights bobbing out of the water. Without saying a word, we started pulling in our lines and prepping to head back, but we kept glancing to the woods, and that's when we noticed the shapes. Several of them. Squatting, crawling, hanging from limbs like skeletal puppets, watching us. How long had they been there? How many were out there? And what if that rain my brother felt hadn't been rain at all? What if one of them had been right above us? We pushed off into the middle of the river, paddling in silence. That kind of silence that lets you hear your blood moving, your own joints cracking. Every breath felt loud, every blink a betrayal. Then they started mimicking us. At first it was quiet. From the woods behind us we heard laugh. My laugh. But not me. Not then. It was distorted, stretched, like someone trying to remember how a person sounds. Then my brother's voice. slurred and out of sync.
Hell yeah, man. That's a good one.
He'd said that earlier, when we caught the first catfish. Then more of our voices came, played back in layers. Some overlapping, some too slow, others sped up into mockeries. Twisted echoes of our conversation from earlier. Every joke, every story, every laugh played back like a funhouse mirror trying to imitate a memory. We sat frozen in our kayaks, drifting. Because what the hell do you do when the forest is mocking you? When something in the dark wants you to know it's been listening? I think we're trapped here. There's only a 5-foot gap to get back through the flooded brush to the truck. One narrow passage, and they're waiting for us to try. Maybe they'll vanish at dawn, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just keep watching, mimicking, crawling closer, one distorted giggle at a time, until we're either mad enough to paddle into their arms or too tired to care. Either way, I guess we'll know come morning.